I didn't think OLED was going to get any bigger. The new 83-inch C1 OLED by LG is just absolutely insane. If you know me and you've been around this channel for a while, you know that I love OLED, possibly my favorite TV ever made, and there's just so much to unpack here. So let's start at the basics. This is a 4K television, which means you're going to get around 8.3 million pixels, which is insane. And the reason the pixels are so important in OLED specifically is because OLED does not use backlighting or edge lighting, which is what you kind of get in some of your cheaper TVs. So you'll see at a lot of retailers really cheap TVs for large sizes, and essentially what that is low processing power, which is in my opinion really important, and two, the screens are edgelit or backlit, but most of the time edgelit. Now what makes OLED so special is that each individual pixel, now remember I said 8.3 million, each individual pixel can turn itself red, green, blue, or off. And it is very important to keep that in mind because the fact that it can turn off gives it a perfect black. So when you have an extremely deep black or perfect black, that just makes the color pop that much more. It can be more and more accurate because there's no bleeding of edge-lit panels. Now, some of the higher end but not OLED TVs that come with fully backlit panels, those can achieve high levels of brightness, but it won't be just as exact when it comes to blacks like the OLED, but they're still great. But personally, nothing touches OLED, and that's why I love LG so much, is because they've done OLED for quite a while now, and it's just a great TV in general. Now, this TV also comes with AI upscaling. Now, what is AI upscaling? AI, artificial intelligence, and essentially what this does is it scales a picture up to make it look better, right? So if I'm watching a 1080p image, it's not going to have as many pixels as a 4K image, but if the TV that I'm watching it on has AI upscaling, what it's doing is predicting all the missing pixels based on, what pixels are there already. Now, this is another feature reserved for premium TVs, as it does require a better processor and a lot more processing power. Now, when we're talking about processing power, obviously we have to have a processor to back that up. So this year's TVs come with A9 4th gen processors. Do you like to play games? If not, it's all good. I'm sure you like to watch sports or action movies, but the hertz rate is really what's important here. Is 120 hertz refresh rate, which is great for all the next gen consoles, PS5s, the new Xboxes, and even if you wanted to plug your PC in, it would look great on that as well. And it also has a built-in game mode, so it can kind of focus everything on that game versus, when it's in normal viewing mode that might not be tuned as high. Now, the last thing when it comes to gaming is it is G-Sync and FreeSync ready, which is only important to you PC users out there. If you're on a console, don't worry about this. And I lied, 1 millisecond response time, which is really impressive for a TV. Now, we talked about the processing power earlier, but I also want to talk about the WebOS. I personally have had an OLED in my home for quite a while now, and I really enjoy LG's WebOS, which is their operating system. It's very sleek, very smooth, and I found across all OLED models, no matter what the processor is, it works well no matter what. You can always customize your apps to fit, your priorities. So if you're going to go to YouTube or Netflix a lot, you can have those up at the front, along with some other features built in that you can figure out on your own. Now, as far as ports go, it's really impressive that they were able to get 4 HDMI ports that were 4K and 120 hertz. HDMI 2 is going to be that arc that you're looking for, and it also has 3 USB ports, which is kind of good because normally they only have 2, and I'd like to see that, they're still including more options for USB. And don't forget about your LAN port for internet and your digital audio. Now, I say this with pretty much every TV review. You have to understand that TV speakers are just not the same as they used to be back in the day. And there's very few TVs that have great sound out the box. Most of the time, you're going to want to pair it with a soundbar or ideally, if you can afford it, a nice surround system. And this is really nobody's fault. You have to understand that with these flat screen TVs, there's nowhere to really fit good sound components. And most of the time it has to come out the bottom, which obviously is going to get muffled. Some TVs though, they do have screen audio. It is what it is. It's only a certain amount of wattage. So like I said, you're going to want to get a soundbar or, some sort of extra audio system. Now this TV with the stand is 91 pounds, but without 71 pounds. So this shouldn't be that hard to mount on the wall as long as you got someone helping you out. And if you don't have a credenza to put it on, I highly recommend looking at mounting it because these OLEDs look great on the wall. And one of my favorite features built into the gallery app is this nice kind of picturesque, slideshow of art pieces, which you can leave on when, guests are over. And personally, if you got that mounted on the wall, I think that looks great. And that's just one of the, many benefits to having it on the wall. That's going to be all for this one. And if you guys haven't already, check out some of our other cool videos on products like these. If you guys are interested in getting the best deal on this product, email YouTube@Waltz. And if you're new here, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future videos or deals.